Hi everyone, thanks for joining me for the full moon read in Taurus. This is a full moon and it's going to be on November 4th, 1:23 a.m. Eastern. Times will vary. And it's a full moon in Taurus. The moon is conjunct Pallas Athena. And then, I gotta clean my glasses 1 second here, I'm wiping down. The sun is conjunct Jupiter, so the full moon is opposed Jupiter. Here's what I've done. I've put this little chart and I just pasted it in here because it's so much easier now to do the tablet. I'm already set up out here doing all the readings, so rather than change the camera around and everything every time, this is that little sheet I used to have on there. Most of this stuff I don't even need on here. It's sort of extraneous, but there's like templates to run charts, and I wanted the aspectary in here, so all this other stuff just sort of came along. One of these days I'll dive in there and figure it out again and get it exactly how I wanted it. But I was more concerned about the colors and the look of it when I was setting up my astrology sticks. I don't like a lot of colors. I hate those charts that are all these bright colors, and it's just so distracting. I like there's a little bit of purple in here, but it's mostly just, just data. I don't like all that. I find that really distracting and really hard to look at. So I like a nice simple chart visually. And in order to get that and get my aspectarian down here, all this other stuff came along with it, and I don't use it really ever. So a lot of people liked this, so I pasted it over here. But let's look at this chart. One thing that hit me before I get into it too much, because I've been doing the year ahead readings for 2018, and this is a full moon in Taurus, we're having some big shifts astrologically coming up in 2018. Saturn's going to move, in December of 2017, Saturn's going to move from Sagittarius into Capricorn. In both the cases, it's fire to earth. And then the other thing is in May, Uranus is moving from Aries into Taurus, from fire to earth. And then here's this full moon in this earth energy. So it's almost like there's a connection, or this is some sort of a precursor or something as we move. There's going to be some major shifts with these big planets, these outer planets, the big dogs or whatever, from fire to earth. So fire is very action-oriented. Fire is go, 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 do, 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 implement, go, make happen. Always on the move. Always, you think like I'm seeing, like I'm hearing like little sparks flying out with fire. It's always sparking, always going. And Earth is a very different energy from fire. I can't remember, so maybe somebody could comment below, because there's like water feeds earth, air feeds fire. I think dirt puts out fire, earth puts out fire. They all are connected like that. So I'm not sure what earth is. It earth puts out fire? If somebody knows for sure, diminishes it. But earth is grounding. And this Taurus, I keep wanting to go over here, but I'm sorry about that. Let me turn that off. The Taurus full moon, is grounded in the earth with Pallas Athena over here. And it reminded me of it too, because it is close. It's not conjunction, but it's close over here with the Uranus. It's pretty close to that Uranus. So I just feel like this is going to give us a little precursor. It'll be good to note the vibrations and what's going on, because I feel like that's going to be, you're going to see that it's a precursor to what we can expect in 2018 overall, basically, okay? So there's a lot of action here. We've got the Pallas here. This is what pulls me, the Sun conjunct. We just came out of a Sun conjunct Jupiter a couple days ago, but it's still an orb, This is opposing the Sun, Jupiter, and Scorpio. That's another big shift that just occurred, of course. That Jupiter has gone into Scorpio. Of course, Jupiter is a shift of Jupiter every year. Something that occurred to me a while ago, it's probably documented somewhere, but the Chinese astrology is one sign per year, and so is Jupiter. So there's got to be a correlation between Jupiter and the Chinese astrology. And I wonder if anybody ever really, looked into that or did a study on it or whatever, because it would be the same. It should be. It should work out to be the same, right? But anyways, I digress. And Jupiter too. The air, fire kind of goes together. Of course, air feeds fire, and water and earth. So we're moving out of this air, fire into this water, earth thing. And then of course we've got the Neptune and water, and Pluto and earth. So a lot of the big planets, there's a shift. there's a shift between energy being real, moving quickly, and mental with air, mental, and fire action, and always crackling and moving, and into like a smoother, a calmer, a more grounded vibration, a more practical. Taurus energy, I keep wanting to go over here, but it's down here. Taurus energy is very practical. Taurus energy is very practical. It's grounded in the earth. It definitely is fiscally, I don't know a nice way to say, let's say frugal, I guess we could say, but it's, it's, Tauruses can be a little tight-fisted at times, They're real good with money. Tauruses are real good with money. If I've never had like I have an accountant that does my taxes and stuff, but I've never had, if like I had a money manager or something, I would want them to be a Taurus, I would think, or a Virgo. But they're real, real good with the money. They can make it last, but they like to splurge, they like comfort. Taurus is about what we value, the second house. I need to have this where you guys can see it. Taurus, second house, Venus. This is what we value. If I make it a tiny bit smaller, I think we could see everything. Yeah, that's perfect. What we value, our values. This is our money and other people's money in the 8th house, is what that rules, Scorpio and Pluto's rulership. So there's still a kind of a focus on the other. I know I went off a little bit the other time about, the other. But there's still that. And it's focusing on that, and it's moving into, besides this, we have other planets. We still have Venus, Vesta, Mars, all over here in the 7th house, or in the sign of Libra, ruler of the 7th house. We still have both Venus, Venusian, and then we have this 8th house activation going on with some of the personal planets. Sun and Mercury are here in the 8th, and involved in this full moon. So this is my money, my partner's money. My earnings are joint earnings. This is taxes, death, and this is the vibe where Jupiter is now. And there's a concentration of this anyway, sexuality, big time. It's funny that these sexual things are coming out in that Me Too movement. And it's not funny at all. It's so right on. It's so right on that these kind of things are coming to light. Taurus is full moon, though. It's going to be more about the financial aspect of it. Taurus also ruled by Venus, and we have several planets in Libra here. This could be a highly creative time. Venus is creativity. Venus is love. It's love. And Venus is in Libra, in her home sign here. Let me look at the aspectarian here for a minute. Let's see what this sun is. Trine Neptune. So Neptune is involved in this... yeah, it's exactly. It's sextiling the full moon and trining the sun. So Neptune is heavily involved in this. And what else? It's conjunct Jupiter. Yeah, we got that. Okay. Saturn's trining the node and the ascendant, and Uranus. Saturn trine Uranus. Yeah. Well, these two are the two that are going to be making that big move. And the node is still involved in a loose orb here, It's a very loose orb. So this grand trine in fire is sort of diminishing, but the Uranus Saturn is right, it's locked pretty tight there. It's only off by 1 degree. But I want to look into this Neptune now. So Neptune's involved in this full moon. That's really dreamy. That's really spiritual. That's really mystical. I was just talking to somebody who's going to be having I was doing a reading for somebody. Their year ahead, they're going to have a major... They're getting Neptune by transit to their natal, and then they're the other way around too. Their natal something, I can't even think of it now, but you know what I mean. They're being affected by Neptune in a couple different ways, by transit and by some other way. But anyway, so Neptune is real heavy in their life, and I was just delving into this a little bit in their reading, And this is, well, the big thing is with Neptune, let's just start there. I say this all the time, it's the two fish. One swims upward, one swims downward. So upward, imagination, getting download, spiritual connection, creativity, like true creativity, where it's almost channeled information. It channeled music and art and stuff like that. That's could be very much a thing right now. But the other downside of it is, you know, because Neptune's not quite in reality. It's able, upward, it transcends reality. Using Neptune in a positive way, you are able to transcend reality. But there's also like escaping reality or not being in reality kind of in a negative way. Like, you know, well, drug abuse is under there, mental illness, but also just like lying and also like getting caught up in being lied to, but getting caught up in these, you know, crazy stuff, you know, some crazy stuff. Where you're just, you know, imagining the worst, you know, making, you know, what's that great saying? It's about worrying is like praying for something you don't want to happen, you know, where you're just going down the rabbit hole, you know, you can just kind of spiral all the way down with, and you know, oh, what if it's this and what if it's that, and you know, making things that are not part of your reality, you know, potentially a part of your reality, drawing it in like a magnet, you know. And that's the other thing about Taurus, because that, you know, the cure to that, or the way to avoid that would be, you know, being in the here and now. And Taurus is very good at that. Taurus is very good at being in the here and now. What's right in front of me? What can I see? You know, do the gratitude stuff. But if you want to delve into that, I mean, there's some really good psychic, spiritual stuff kind of cooking here, some kind of brewing. And this is really, I think, initiating this Scorpio, Jupiter into Scorpio now, because it's involved, you know, it's involved in this full moon. And it's just in the very beginning, it's just been in there not even a month or so, you know, about a month. So at this low beginning phases of this Jupiter and Scorpio. So, and then what happens, you know, in the news, Jupiter and Scorpio, big sex scandal and the Me Too thing. So that you'll see more of that. You might see more of sexual liberation. Sex is going to be a big thing. And the dark side of it is in the form of sexual harassment or rape, or, you know, or even the, you know, the different, people who are doing it unwillingly, you know, sex slaves or even pedophilia and that kind of thing. That's going to come out, and that's going to be uncovered for sure over the next year. Because I'm already into 2018 because I'm doing all these year ahead readings. You know, I'm sort of in that zone. If you want to order one, you can check my site. It's available for a limited time, but that's kind of the vibe that's sort of coming forth, and it's coming forth now at this full moon too, because it's directly involved in the full moon. We have Venus oppose Uranus at this time too. This is a pretty fleeting, quick, you know, transit. Venus transits pretty quickly, not as quick as Mercury, but second, it's pretty fast. So, but it's happening right at that time. If we, you know, this snapshot of this moment in time of this full moon, Venus is exactly opposed to Uranus. I mean, almost exact. 2554, 2555. I mean, you can't get much closer. You can't get any closer than that, except dead on exact. With Vesta here too. Well, this could be love for sure. You know, this could totally be some kind of big love thing. Meeting somebody unexpectedly, especially if this is affecting your chart in any way. Like if this stuff is in your own, near your own Venus or Mars, or in your own 7th or 5th house of romances, you know. And you could get your chart done at astro.com for free if you don't know. But knowing your rising sign, if you're a novice, that's important, and that you can find, just to know your houses, it's really important. If you're into astrology, it can be important. But anyway, so meeting somebody unexpectedly. This is that flashes of genius, though. Flashes of creativity. Flashes of stuff that's going to come through, and you're able to get it down because it's trining to Saturn. You're able to get it down. Like I was just this morning, I got up and just, you know, I almost forgot my dreams, but then I was remembering them, and then, you know, about a half hour later, I remembered another dream. You know, so that's almost how it is. You know, if you're not you know, familiar with the creative process, I'm sure most of you are, but, or even like picking up psychic insight, spiritual, this download stuff, it's kind of there and then it's gone, you know. And if you don't grab it, it could be just gone, and you missed the boat, you know, you might have missed it. So that there's going to be a lot of that. There's going to be a lot of that, and also because it's the trining with the galactic center up there, you know, and Lilith too. So downloads are really coming, and through creativity, and downloads for Venus, Venusian, full moon in Taurus, Venusian, Venus, Taurus is Venus, Venus is Venus, Libra. So Venusian type of downloads, things that can make life more beautiful, things that can make life a better place to live, happier, more beautiful, more joyful, more, positive. I just looked up at the clock, it was 15:15. Positive, things that can enhance people's lives and help people's life and make life more pleasant. And we could do with a little bit of a pleasantness, Uranus in Aries has been pretty intense here. Now, well, you get hindsight is 2020, and you can look back on it, and there's been so much upheaval in political systems, and a lot of things. It's inciting people to action and shaking up and the individuals, and and more of the cell phone cameras stuff coming out. That could be a thing too with this. Some kind of shocking that pretty much is every day anymore, right? But some kind of cell phone video thing could totally be come out, or a cell phone video that captures a moment of beauty, a moment of kindness, a moment of beauty, a moment. I'm sure those are captured all the time, but I don't know that they come out. It's always some fight or and I hate that stuff. I mean, you got a camera and you have nothing better to do with it than pick a fight and film it with somebody, beating somebody up on that. I won't look at those. I just won't look at them. I'm not going to give any attention. I shouldn't even mention it, because I'm not going to give any attention to that. But maybe with the full moon, maybe somebody will capture something really, a moment of grace, a moment of an act of kindness, and not an act of kindness. This is another thing. People, post on social media elaborate things of this good deed they did. That really gets me too. Well, if it was truly coming from the heart, you wouldn't need to go tell everybody about it. You go do kind deeds and you don't tell. You don't talk about it. You don't film yourself doing it, or that meme where the people are putting money in the homeless man's cup and they've got a camera, they've got their selfie stick, showing themselves do it, or they just write a paragraph about some good deed that they did. If you were really, I feel like if you're really doing it from the heart, there's no need to tell anybody or film it or whatever. Now, if somebody else happens to catch it and film it, that's a different thing. But humility, what about humility? And that's kind of a Taurus thing. All the Earth signs, they're pretty, I'm wanting to say humid. Yeah, they can be pretty humid, especially with the Scorpio now. And the Neptune, the water, right? No, humble, humility. Did I say humidity? Humility. Humble. Well, everybody, there's exceptions to every rule, and sometimes they can get power hungry with the money, but for the most part, they're pretty humility, humble. They're pretty humble, they're pretty down to earth, and you could do acts of kindness and not have to make a big show about it or run and tell everybody about it. It's like the tree falls in the woods. Or if you gave money to somebody or helped somebody out or stood up for somebody who's being bullied or something, said something, say something, because Mercury's in Scorpio too, and it's involved in this too. It's making the aspects to the Uranus and the Saturn. And what else was it making an aspect to? Wasn't there something else kind of at a high degree over here? Oh, it's trining Chiron. Yeah, and I just feel like, in Scorpio, speaking the truth, not letting something get brushed under the rug, or, oh, it's none of my business, I should just shut up. There's times when it is none of your business, when it's somebody's personal life, but then there's times when, that's another thing that, the cell phone cameras have been picking up on, with the Neptune, is, and Mercury telling a story, showing something that's undercover, that would have maybe gone unbrushed, brushed over, whipping out, when there's an injustice being done and people are whipping out their cameras, just to show it. But with it being involved with the Chiron is what I was going to say, is that it could be self-healing. I think it always is self-healing, probably, right? You know, even if you never were bullied in this life, maybe in other incarnations or parallel timelines or whatever, you know, it's healing those wounds, you know, wronging a right, making the world a better place here with this. This is a full moon in Taurus, which is Venus. And Taurus energy, too, is like, they want peace, they want beauty, they want calmness, you know, that there's not a lot of all this crazy activity. It's like chill. It's a chill time with Taurus energy, right? And Scorpio is very chill too. Scorpio, of course, is a water sign, but it's the earthiest of all the water signs, I would say. You know, Scorpio is energy is very earthy, very down to earth. So there's a major shift going on. We're moving from the fire energy into the earth. This is happening, you know, over a short period of time. I mean, over the next year or so, but this is going to be a precursor. It'll be good to note. I mean, I keep journals all the time. I do the astrology book journals, and I have my aspects written down in it and everything. And then you can always go back and look, you know, well, what was going on at that time, you know. It's good for a lot of things. If you keep them long enough, you can look at, you know, like I'll be able to look at my nodal return that's coming up here shortly, you know. What was going on at my last nodal return. I have to dig out the old books, but it's good to keep track of that. I always wanted to do a database of that where everybody could put their stuff in, and then we could all look at each other's and share information that way. I may still do that one of these days, but it's good to note, because again, it's always cyclical. It's a circle, you know, secular. All right, my words are getting jumbled here. Cyclical, try. But what am I trying to say? Circular? I don't know what I'm trying to say. But it's about being in a circle and ever revolving, and ever evolving circle of life. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so full moon in Taurus. Let me jump over real quick to my website. I wanted to show you guys, if you wanted to get, my big thing is I'm kind of pushing the t-shirts now. It's my new thing. You got to get tiered up. In order to do that, you have to sell so many, blah, blah, blah. So if you go in my site, it's under the art, or you can find the link right below. I'm adding some new ones. I've got one for 2018 here. It's like a distressed pattern, and then I have like the master year at the bottom, master year, and it's year of the dog. Yeah, if you're interested in that. If you go on here and you're looking and you want to get to see all of them, you just hit my name and all of them will pop up. The Fear Machine's there. I pulled some other ones here. Let's see. Oh, this is one of the astrologer ones. It's a little more elegant. Astrologers have the stars in their eyes, and it's got some stars on it. And this is another new one. This is an old, a take on a real old design that I could never find anywhere. And I finally found a patch of it somebody was selling on Etsy, but it was different. But it's the same basic thing. And there's the moon was over here and the stars were over here. I mean, of course, I had to change it a lot, but I remember these from back in the day, and I love these shirts. And they used to be on different things. It was a thing maybe all the way back to the 70s even. So I reimagined it. I changed it around. I think the old one from the 70s had mountains and a sun. I just put sun in the sky, and I just think that's one of my cooler ones, one of my newer ones. And then that's the page of all of it. If you go on the readings page, you can find the year ahead. This is the one where I look at your... It starts out, I look at the major transits, which are the Saturn, the Uranus, and the Jupiter. Just how if it's going to make a big hit to your chart. And then I do, it's like this. These are the 4 quarters of the year, and you get an animal totem. And then I have the regular readings available. And if you're into astrology, the Soul's Journey reading is where I do a big overview of your chart. And it's really heavily past life oriented. It goes into, you know, past lives and what you're doing here and all that. And on my chart, on my, this thing, the website, I have the, I keep wanting to say chart. But this is, I'm talking about the animal totem cards. This is the animal totem card today. So, yeah, if you haven't looked in a while, check it out. Let me try to get the chart back up here. There it is. So, full moon in Taurus. The beginning of of what's to come. It's a full moon, so it's not a beginning, but it's an illumination. It's going to shine a spotlight on what's to come, what to expect in 2018 as we shift. The major planets are shifting from fire to earth and from air to water. So the vibration, the whole tone of our energy, our interaction is going to be different. Now, when we were in the fire, one thing that just came to me is like how when we were in the fire, you know, it's like, oh, action, action, action. And like, say in America, the election, everybody's fighting amongst each other, protesting, and nah, do, go, go. As we move more into this earth and this Scorpio energy, it might be like, okay, well, we know we don't like it. We know we're not happy, okay? But let's make a real plan. What can we really do? What solid things can we set in motion, set in action? And anything that is set in action, whenever Saturn's involved, it's going to be long-lasting. Saturn's 28 years to go all the way around. It's a 7 to 8 year for the quarter turn, squares and the oppositions. So anything that's initiated under a Saturn influence is going to be long-lasting. And in Saturn and Capricorn, it's coming into its home base. But we're going to talk more about that as in December. I don't want to get too far off because it's still in Sag, and it's going to go over that galactic center one more time. That in itself too, Saturn going over the galactic center one more time, you know, that's like we're still going to be getting these big downloads that can do just what I was just talking about. Make these major changes that are going to be long lasting. Make these changes that are going to be solid foundations for the future. What else is Saturn doing besides it's sextiling Venus? Well, it's sextiling Venus. Again, for good things. What about Miss Lilith here? Well, pretty much the same as we said, trining Uranus and stuff like that, and squaring Chiron. So it's, again, I've talked about this at length, about the healing that can take place. But again, when Saturn gets up there, 26 degrees, it's at almost 25, so it's like a couple days after that probably, you know, downloads that can really set up a new foundation that can actually do some good for humanity or take us to the next level. In Sagittarius, this is the next step. This is the higher mind. This is knowledge, you know. I'm just hearing the tree of knowledge. So that's from the Norse, Odin, and the tree of knowledge. And that's where the hangman in tarot is derived from that. He hung from the tree and he was enlightened, and he was given the runic alphabet, you know, and its mystical symbolisms. So Taurus is, it's like, I want to say, like, be still. Be still, listen, download, make a plan. Taurus energy doesn't go rushing off and doing this and that and crazy, let's go do this, blah, blah. Just make a plan, plan it out, practical approach. What are we going to do? And when they have a solid idea of what's going to be happening, then they make solid steps towards achieving goals, and they achieve the damn goals, okay? Sometimes fire energy, not all fire signs energy, but especially like Aries, yeah, let's do this, and they never finish anything. It's just scattered all over. Earth signs have a plan, they have a start, an action and an ending. And especially Taurus doesn't want to move forward until we have this plan actually planned out here, you know. We have a practical approach, and so let's make a plan. Let's make a plan for 2018, because this is so connected to this Earth energy that's going to be coming in 2018, and a major shift. This is like a little bit of a taste, a precursor of it. Okay. All right, everybody. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for liking, sharing, commenting, donating. If you want to subscribe, you can hit down there. Please check in the Show More section or below, or in the little eye in the sky. Go to my website. You can order a T-shirt or reading. You can also get the $22 year ahead. This is this astrology report that's huge. It goes to every major aspect to your whole chart for the entire year. It's only $22. I think it's something like 50, 60 pages. I could check it for you again right now. I think I say in here how long it is. The smoke readings. Here it is, the 2 ahead, yeah. Yeah, 50 to 60 pages long, and it's every single aspect for the entire year. So that's another cool thing, or donation, or whatever. Whatever you can do, whatever you can't do. It's all good. Like, share, comment. It all helps to keep the readings free, because as you may know, for all YouTubers, the earnings are down significantly. So any little extra you guys can do is always appreciated. That keeps me coming back to do the free readings for you every month, and I particularly do like to do these chart readings more than anything else. Alright, so check it all out. Thanks again. Remember that you are love and beauty incarnate. Have a great full moon, and if you're watching this today, it's Halloween. So happy Halloween, All Hallows Eve. So I can't think of the wicked name, but anyways, till next time, bye.